Hi everyone, it's Sarah. So I wanted to make this video just to talk about my latest blog that talks about the 3 top soft skills that you learn in college that are really, really influential in your life beyond college. And these soft skills are different than hard skills, and so that differentiation is really important. So hard skills are usually what you learn in specific training and education, maybe inside the classroom, and that could be anything from, really good math skills or data analysis or things that are measurable and you can prove to an employer when you graduate. These are the skills I have. It's something that you can put on your resume under your technical skills section. And so those are a little bit different. Those are great to have, but they're different than soft skills. And those are harder to measure, but they really talk about, your personal traits, your character traits, the way that you interact with people, the way that you approach life, the way that you approach your job, your schoolwork, things like that. A lot of times they're attitude focused and they're really hard to learn. They're arguably harder to learn than hard skills, but they are more beneficial. And so there are a lot of soft skills that people talk about. It could be teamwork, it could be communication, really anything under the moon. But I picked a few that I think are really important to your growth during college. And these soft skills are something that, if you can't go to college, if you can't afford to go to college, or if you, figure out that college isn't the right path for you at this moment, you can totally learn these skills in different areas of your life. Different experiences that you have can teach you these skills. So it's not to say that you have to go to college to learn these. But what's great about going to college, going to a university, is that it's a very small period of time in comparison to the rest of your life that you are put under a good amount of stress. You're put in social situations that are new to you. You meet new people. You are kind of forced to learn these different skills that you might otherwise not in life. And so you really are forced to be put in these situations that are new to you that you really grow from in a large way. So the skills that I picked out to talk about, the first one was resilience. And me personally, I went to college during a pretty tumultuous time. Socially, in terms of the entire world was going through a lot during the time that I went to college. But also academically, I was put under a really, really tough workload. I was doing a lot at the same time that a lot of things were happening in the world, such as, the California scheduled power outages because of the wildfires and smoke going around in the Bay Area, as well as the COVID-19 epidemic. So a lot of times classes were being canceled, or I would have to transition to online learning, which was really, really tough in terms of emotional health and staying motivated and things like that, and feeling emotionally happy and socially happy. So it created a lot of stress. And for me, resilience is something that I grew into. I would like to think that I'm a resilient person, but it's really hard to work at. Being resilient is hard. And so during college, kind of the world events aside, during that time, I really had to figure out how to stay on top of my demanding workload while also, being in this emotional chaos. Everyone was kind of freaking out and didn't really know what was happening. And so you'd have to focus on your workload while also, staying emotionally happy and healthy and checking in on your friends, during the wildfires, things like that. That was really hard. But I really learned how to be resilient and stay focused and, process my emotions in a really, really healthy way. But even beyond that, during college, you are expected to do a lot of work. You might be involved in multiple classes. You have extracurriculars that you're doing. You might work at the same time that you're learning. You might be employed as a student. There's a lot of things going on, and resilience is really, really key to being successful. So you learn to manage all of that and also, try to stay healthy, get a good amount of sleep or eat healthier. And that's something that is not easy. I would say prioritizing your time and really picking yourself up when you're down is a hard thing to do. And college really forces you to put things in perspective and realize, you will be okay. You will bounce back from failure. It will be okay. And that's a lot of what it takes to be resilient. Just learning, no matter what you go through, no matter what failures you experience, it will be okay and you'll come out on the other side. And so having that positivity is really important. And college really teaches you that because a lot is put on you at once. So that's I would say, a big overview of why resilience is important and why you kind of learn that in college. You realize that things don't always happen perfectly the first time around, and life throws a lot of things at you. And that's going to continue beyond college. So definitely learning how to deal with that and stay focused and be able to, keep track of all your commitments, even when, life might be a little chaotic. That's super important. The second soft skill that I would mention is emotional health regulation and self-forgiveness, being really kind to yourself. And this is something that is hard to talk about for a lot of people, and is also something that does not come easily, something that I also have not mastered yet. And I would say, any graduate that says they're perfect when it comes to emotional health regulation and self-care, they're lying. It's really hard. You are not always perfect. There are going to be days when you slip up and you feel bad about yourself, or you don't do the best thing that you possibly could for your own mental health. So I think this is something that is challenged in college. Before college, you might have a manageable workload, or you might have more time to kind of process your emotions, or you might not be put in a situation that really challenges your emotional stability. But in college, a lot is thrown your way, like I mentioned before, workload or social dynamics. Maybe right before a midterm, you break up with your significant other, you have a fight with your friend. That is really tough. And so you go through these really stressful academic moments while also dealing with a lot of social turmoil at the same time. So what I learned in college was to be kind to myself and put things in perspective, and take a step back and say, okay, I'm doing a lot of things. Make lists about what you're doing to appreciate yourself. Make a list about all of the things that you're involved in, and sit back and say, oh, I'm really doing a lot of things. Give yourself credit for what you're doing, and don't be too hard on yourself. And that's something that's really hard to do, but it creates more positivity in your life, and you're able to kind of bounce back a little bit more when you are put in stressful situations. I would say the biggest thing about college is that you're going to be put in situations that teach you a lot about yourself. You're going to learn how you react in stressful situations, how you react when you're angry, and you're going to learn all of these things, all of these lessons, these life lessons that people may have told you about before coming to college, but you really have to experience to understand yourself. So you could be, you figure out what you're like when you're really tired, or you've forgotten to eat all day, and you realize that these are unhealthy habits that you work towards improving for your own mental health, for your own physical health, and stability. So I would really encourage during college to kind of take a step back every so often. And another thing I would say is that, don't feel bad about self-care. If your definition of self-care is to watch some episodes of your favorite show on Netflix, do that, and don't make yourself feel bad about it. Something that I often do is that, my relaxation time, I feel guilty about it. I feel guilty about taking some time for myself because I feel lazy and I'm not doing other work that I should be doing maybe. But that's not really effective relaxation. You're going to come out of that relaxation feeling guilty and feeling tired because you spent all this energy being mad at yourself for taking that time to relax. So really enjoy that relaxation, listen to what makes you happy, and then act on it. And that is good self-care. The last soft skill that I wanted to touch on really quickly, is networking and professionalism. And this is something that that kind of happens naturally when you come to college, because you're surrounded by a lot of really smart people and by professionals. Maybe they're your professors or mentors or guest speakers or things like that. You are exposed to a lot of people that have made really strong moves to progress in their career. And so it's much easier to connect with these people, to create relationships with these people, talk about maybe it's a career that you are interested in, that you want to go into. It's much easier to create casual conversations with these people that you're really interacting with on the daily. And in addition to that, you're surrounded by students who are having the same kind of existential thoughts that you might be having. What do I want to do with the rest of my life? What do I want to major in? What am I all about? What am I passionate about? What makes me happy? So you are around students that are having these same thoughts at the same time. And so you can have these conversations about the rest of your life with these people around you, and learn that, there are a lot of skills that other people have that you can benefit from. And it's not just about, on a very surface level, just getting what you can from other people. It's really developing relationships in a different way than you're used to before college. Professional relationships are a really new thing. And so in college, you get more used to that and get more used to the idea of kind of utilizing people and creating a career network. And even though that might sound shallow, it definitely is not. Professional relationships are a real thing, and it doesn't mean that you're not, you don't have an established relationship. It's really just a different dynamic that you get used to in college. In addition, you are generally going to be surrounded by a lot of people putting on more events that are career focused. So professional development events, resume critiques, portfolio critiques, learning how to write cover letters. There's a wealth of knowledge that exists at universities that you can really benefit from. And so being at a university really exposes you to these events that you can, oftentimes they're free too. It really exposes you to events that you can benefit from in a different way. So I would definitely look out for those events, and definitely realize that networking is something that is really hard, and it takes practice to kind of navigate new professional relationships, but it's something that you learn in college, just kind of being surrounded by that kind of atmosphere. So those are 3 soft skills that I really wanted to mention that are super important to your development, your professional development, your personal development in college. And obviously these are not the only soft skills that you learn in college. There are so many different ways to develop and grow during those years. But I think these are really beneficial to kind of finding yourself in college. As cliche as it sounds, college is about finding yourself. And finding yourself really means, doing some soul searching, doing some introspection, and learning, what makes you passionate, what makes you tick, really, and learning these soft skills about, what are your characteristics, how do you approach the world, how do you approach other people, job opportunities, academic experiences, things like that. So definitely, if you have other questions, please reach out to our consultant team. We are more than happy to set up a call with you and kind of talk about some of the benefits of college and some of the skills that you acquire along the way, and talk about how soft skills are a little bit different than hard skills and how both are really important to success, but soft skills really benefit you in a wide range of ways. So thank you all for watching. Please reach out if you have any questions. And I hope this helped you kind of think a little bit more about the benefits of college.